cars so that you can optionally get iPod connectivity in a variety of cars today. And we have 4 new brands announcing iPod connectivity today. The first is Honda. Honda's going to be bringing iPod connectivity to their cars. And Acura as well. The third is Audi. And the fourth is Volkswagen. And these brands join many, many others, too many to fit on one slide. But the most important thing to know is that in 2006, 30% of all cars sold in the US are going to offer iPod connectivity. 30%, you can get an option to plug your iPod right into the car stereo system, hear it through the stereo system, control it from the steering wheel, see your songs on the display. 30% of all cars sold in the US. This is a real milestone for us, and I hope that you like it too. So that's a little update on automotive, and that's an update on iPod. So now, let's talk about iPods. As you know, we have 3 families of iPods. The iPod Mini, and the iPod Shuffle. Today, we're going to focus on the iPod Mini. Now, the iPod Mini is what all of our competitors have their sights focused on. Why? Well, it's obvious. Because the iPod Mini is the most popular MP3 player in the world. It's the most popular iPod, and that makes it the most popular MP3 player in the world. So that's the one everybody's focused on. Well, today, we're going to do something pretty bold. Today, we're going to replace it. We're going to replace it with something new. Now, let's go back to the beginning, because we started this all with 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? We started it with the original iPod. And then we carried 1,000 songs in your pocket over to the iPod Mini. Well, now we're going to replace the iPod Mini with a new player, an entirely new ground-up design that also has 1,000 songs in your pocket. And it's called the iPod Nano. The iPod Nano is the biggest revolution since the original iPod. A lot of people have worked so hard on this over the last many, many months. And it is my privilege to show it to you now. 1,000 songs in your pocket, the iPod Nano. So, let's get a camera. I've got a pocket right here. Now, this pocket's been the one that your iPod's gone in, traditionally. The iPod and the iPod Mini fit great in there. You ever wonder what this pocket's for? I've always wondered that. Well, now we know, because this is the new iPod Nano. All right, let's take a closer look at it. This is the new iPod Nano. It is breathtaking. You won't believe it until you hold it in your hands. 1,000 songs. An amazing color display. A click wheel. It is one of the most amazing products Apple has ever created. 1,000 songs in your pocket. Impossibly small. It's really small. Let me show you how small this is. This thing is thinner than a number 2 pencil. Thinner than a number 2 pencil. Now, let's go ahead and compare it to the original iPod. This is the original iPod that also held 1,000 songs in your pocket. Look at that. The iPod Nano is 80% smaller in volume than the original iPod. 80% smaller means it's 20% of the size. It's 1/5 the size of the original iPod that we shipped less than 4 years ago. Okay, let's compare it to the iPod Mini. The iPod mini, an incredibly successful product. The iPod Nano is half the thickness. It's 62% smaller by volume. That means it's almost 1/3 the size of the iPod mini. Now let's take a look at some competitors. Some of their flash products here. Here's iRiver. Look at this. 68% smaller. It's 1/3 the size of a competing player that doesn't hold anywhere near the number of songs. Here's another one by a company called Creative. I think it's called their Zen player. Again, 69% smaller, 1/3 the size. Here's another one. I think this is the Zen Neon. 58% smaller, less than half the size. Here's a player from Samsung. Again, less than half the size, 59% smaller. Here's a Sony player. 67% smaller, 1/3 the size. Now let me compare it to something else, which isn't a competitor, which is a really cool product. This is the coolest phone on the market until today, with the iTunes phone, the Motorola Razr phone, right? Look at this, though. 66% smaller, 1/3 the size of the smallest phone on the market. That's how small this is. It's really small size. But it's got really big features. This is a full-featured iPod. So, first thing is, it's got that 30-pin dock connector like the iPod and the iPod mini, and so it plugs in to the entire universe of iPod accessories. And again, a gorgeous color screen. And music's the most important thing. But we've added some other things beyond just music. We've added